Hi guys, Sai here. Welcome back to another technical Minecraft video, and today we are looking at a modular cart unloader in the shiny new Snapshot 13 Week 1A. This is a system to put at the end of your rails from say a mine shaft, or if you have a lot of stuff moving from one place to another, and you can just send chest carts along the rails as long as you don't send them more than one each second. I think it's second. Might be a bit longer than that. I think it's one per second it'll take, or 1.2 seconds, something like that. But as long as you don't send them ridiculously fast, faster than you could possibly fill them up, it handles them all and it'll just unload them into whatever storage system you decide to connect to the end of it. And yeah, so it's pretty neat. I'd say probably in survival you're never going to need more than 2 of these modules, but we'll get onto that later. So we have a chest here, in a cart rather, and it's got 32 nether quartz in it, because nether quartz is a nice new material and is going to make some absolutely awesome blocks in the next snapshot from Jeb's tweet. So if we put this into the system, you can see that the rail leading into this module closes off once it enters, and it starts emptying into this hopper here, which is then emptying into this one. Now it empties fully into there, and this one empties into the next chest minecart in much the same way. And once this chest is full, that goes down to the bottom, starts emptying into the storage system, and it ejects our cart over to this end, where at the moment I've just got a cart retriever set up, but really you could send this back to your mine shaft. Whatever you want to do with the carts at the end, it's up to you. One of the things I like about this system is that it's T flip-flop based, so if you want to have carts coming in from the opposite end of this system, instead of having to rebuild the whole thing or send them all the way around the loop, or instead of having to flip it over while you're building it, all you have to do is press this button here, and that alters it so that it accepts carts from the opposite direction, which is really quite nice. Yeah, so there's 10 modules here at the moment. You really don't need this much, as I said before, and when each module has a cart in it, it closes up. So if you send more than 10 minecarts in, they just carry on all the way around, and they go around the system and come back to the start, and they'll just idle, going in loops around the system until you have a free space, which is quite nice. Yeah, so the relay system that's at work in here, I guess we go over to the single module to explain it. Hoppers at the moment can only detect putting a comparator out of an inventory, I should really say first, will give you a reading of how many items are in that inventory, or rather how full the inventory is. And this starts off at 0 for the first 15th of the inventory. Yeah, pretty much the first 15th, and it ends up at strength 15 for the last item in the inventory. But this means that you can't measure when an inventory has 1 block in it, which is a bit unfortunate, because that means you can't measure when a hopper is emptying directly into a chest. So instead, we give it 20 items and say, okay, you can measure when you've got 22 items in you. So if we feed you 2 items, even if they're unstackable, you're going to give out a signal, a comparator signal. And we can use that to summon this chest minecart. Basically, the states of the 2 powered rails here switch when that gets over 22, that's all it does. And so this chest minecart comes along and starts emptying this hopper at the same rate as the chest minecart above it is filling it. So when this hopper starts emptying, it means that the chest above it is no longer filling it. So the minecart can safely be got rid of at this point. So that would be the entire system. only you unfortunately have a problem here. If you only do that as the system and open up the track as soon as this minecart goes away, what if two full minecarts come right after each other? This one would still not fully have emptied itself by the time that the second minecart came. So this one would be over here with, say, half of its inventory still full and the one above it full, and this would mean that you'd have 1.5 inventories trying to get into this cart, and the hoppers just back up. They don't store more than they can. So if that was the case, this minecart would never move away from the system and the whole thing would just jam. Oh, sorry about that, let's move the screen back. So we have to detect when we've emptied this minecart in order to make the system less prone to jamming. And we do this by pretty much the same system again that we've got up here with a comparator and inverting these two states, only this is using a piston rather than a powered rail, and this is just because the circuit over here is pretty dense and it was quite hard to get a powered rail actually powered with all the other stuff that's going on. So also, once this starts unloading, the next cart to come in comes in always after that starts unloading, so the system will never jam in the second step. Now, once that comes to the bottom here, we also get a pulse into a monostable here, or an inverted monostable, and that gives us a pulse here which gets rid of this cart, and it also puts a pulse into the T flip-flop here, which is triggered on the other end by the detector rail. Detector rails have a bug in this version of, or in this snapshot that isn't going to be in the next one apparently, where you can't take power directly out from beneath them, so I've got this slightly awkward setup. But yeah, it works. I don't think it can be made 3-wide tileable. There is a problem with doing that here. You see where we have a powered rail over here, we have a block with redstone on top here, and you need that block for the torch which goes back into there. So I've tried putting a block above and a block beneath with redstone on, but it just hasn't worked for me. Initially this was 5-wide though, so I'm quite happy to get it down to 4-wide tileable with most of its stuff in 3. That's fantastic for me. So yeah, it occupies about exactly 400 blocks, including these 2 chests sticking out the bottom, which aren't really a part of the system. Of course there's no nether quartz in there. I was like, why is there no nether quartz in this chest system at the bottom? I'm sure we just emptied some into it. Here's the nether quartz, including 32 more that we got from a previous run, just to check that it worked. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. I don't think I'm going to put a tutorial in the video. I might do another video with a tutorial, never know. But I'm trying to split them up, as I said last time. So, thank you for watching, have a nice day, and hope to see you again soon.